Canon 550D today. Is it a good camera? Should you buy the camera in 2021? Well, I think in this current age, it's actually still a very good camera to buy. The reason for that is it's got great image quality, even for a non-full frame camera. It's actually a crop sensor camera, which means it's half the size of a full frame. However, you can get EFS lenses for this camera, which work very well. You can get 18 to 55, which is the kit lens. You can even get the image stabilized version, which actually works very well for handheld video. And the 550D does do video. You can do 1080p video, and the best thing here is it's actually handheld, so you can work through it and see what works well for you. In terms of photos, I will show you a few photos that you can take with this camera and how well they perform, because as you use the camera you will upgrade lenses, and I'll show you a few examples of lenses that you can use with this. With the 550, I've had it for a number of years. I actually use it for live streaming now. So when I live stream with it, I actually put it in a portrait fashion, and I can Instagram, Reddit and even Twitter live stream with the camera. The best thing is Canon offers you a free webcam tool which you can use via a USB cable, so you don't have to spend a lot of money on a cam link card. So if you could pick up one of these cameras on eBay, they're actually going very cheap. Under £150 you can get a camera with a lens. Sometimes under £100 you can get the camera body itself, and you can fit EFS lenses on there. So if you're not sure about it, I would definitely consider buying this camera as another option to a camera you're already using. I have got a Canon 5D Mark II, I've got the 550D, I've also got SL3 known as the 250D in the UK. So what I'm going to do is actually show you an example of a lens. Here I have a Yongnuo 35mm lens, and the best thing is you can swap these on the fly. So you can actually get one lens if you're wearing a hooded jacket, and it's a nice small lens. It's got a good aperture. Let me take a quick photograph for you as it is now. So I'm at f2.8. Let's go to f2, which is lowest on this lens, and let's take a quick scenery shot. And remember to put your lenses back in autofocus. When I put them in my bag, I normally put the lenses in manual focus so it doesn't mess up the settings. I've taken a few photographs there which will show you how the 550 performs even in the current day, and a comparison to darks and lights. I'm shooting in RAW, so I will be able to bring some of the settings back. However, out of camera it shoots in JPEG as well, so you can actually use normal small sized photos for social media. A great option of a lens. Under $100 you can get a Yongnuo lens. It's an f2 lens, and it's going to give you nice sharp photos because it's a prime lens. Excellent for a small camera like this, and it does work in a full frame as well, so I think that would be very handy. How about if you want to get a telephoto lens? What would be a good option? Let me show you. What I've got here is a Canon 70-200, and it does fit on the crop sensor body, so you can see how it looks there and what kind of photos you can take with it. You can actually zoom in quite nicely with this. I'm showing a quick little photograph there of 200mm and then 70mm, so it works nicely for a crop factor. Because the camera does have a crop, it extends the focal distance, and you can see how that looks and how it feels. I've used the camera as mentioned for a number of years, and you'll see these popping up on screen to give you an idea of what it can do. So a perfect little option for you. So what I want to show you here is actually how dark and light the lenses can get. So you can see here, by using a simple light, it gives you a little bit extra pop, and where you position light is very important as well. So in regards to the lens, right now I'm using the 17-55 at 2.8, and it's indoors, so it's actually going to be a lower light situation. The 2.8 hopefully gives you some background blur, so you can see some of the books in the background a little bit more blurry than they would normally be, and also the lens is image stabilized, which would be good. What we'll do now is we'll swap the lens over to another lens which is a 35mm, and that will actually go down a lot lower in terms of f-stop, letting in more light. So let's do that swap now. So this is part 2 recording. So what I've done now is we've changed the lenses over. We've put the 35mm on the Canon, and I've got the 17-55 here. So now you can see how the difference is in the lens. So what we'll do is, if you get a bit closer, we'll see how much wider this was compared to the other camera. So now there you'll see a difference between the two lenses, and again it works nicely. It's got a nice background blur, and it's an automatic mode. So that's giving you an idea of the difference between the two lenses. 35mm f2 versus the 17-55, which is a 2.8.